Right, hello everybody, and welcome to the trading week ahead, which is part of the Trend Signal Trading podcast. Today is the 27th of July, and this podcast is all about setting you up for the week ahead, the main events that are coming up that are really going to dominate the plays for the Forex and stock markets. As ever, I'm joined with our Chief Analyst and CEO, Jerry Miller. Hi, Jerry.
Hello there, hi.
So, Jerry, there's a few events coming up for the week ahead that we definitely need our pencils sharpened for. As ever, we tend to go from the start of the calendar, and we're going to be looking at the economic events. We're going to be looking at the corporate events as well, because it's big earnings season at the moment as well in the States. But do you want to kick us off, Jerry, so we can start off with the events for today, basically?
Yeah, let's go for it. So Monday, durable goods, as you can see on the calendar.
Yeah, well, let me just get that up. That'd help, wouldn't it? Yeah, we'll go for it.
So durable goods, it's an interesting release. This is a number that used to actually attract the sort of high interest. So it was had a high impact coding from Forex Factory, but I still follow it quite closely, and it really is a key measure of the appetite of consumers to spend. Obviously, it's telling us what they have spent, but it's not like a real leading indicator, but it's certainly an indicator worth following, and it will have an effect on the dollar and equities if it's that far away from the number we're expecting. So it's the core number we look at, Adrian, which excludes the very, very big ticket items. So 3.5%, sort of pretty much the same as last month. So that's still, it's positive. It's a positive recovery in durable goods, and so that'll obviously positively affect equities as well if it's better than expected. So I'll leave it at that. That's the only data really on Monday. Tuesday, not a lot. You'll see that there's the conference board consumer confidence there. Again, another number I think should be a red number, as it were. Another great leading indicator, as all these consumer confidence numbers are. We've got the University of Michigan one at the end of the week. 94, slipping a little bit. Remember, a lot of consumers focus on their equity portfolio as well as much as anything else. But the numbers have started to sort of slow down a little bit. And obviously with the lockdown in the southern states, those consumers are feeling a little bit different to those in the northern states, I can tell you. So
yeah, that's a reasonable difference, isn't it? I mean, the University of Michigan one for Friday, it's pretty similar to the last release, but this one's definitely quite a bit lower than the previous month, and that makes a lot of sense. And of course, if people aren't feeling confident, they're not going to be out there spending, which has a knock-on implication to the stock market,
future profits,
definitely to the dollar as well.
Okay. Wednesday, I know we've sort of got a quite tight time limit, but Wednesday, do you remember the pending home sales last month?
I do, yeah.
A huge number. I mean, just off the chart, and that really did propel the stock markets higher and actually gave the dollar a bit of a lift temporarily, as it turned out. But a lot more down to still quite a strong number. 15.6% is still not bad. It just puts it in context that when you see the previous number at 44.3, maybe a revision down, possible. But anyway, that's pending home sales. That will have an effect, obviously, as it did on stocks and the currencies. So that is closely followed. We also have crude oil inventories, the usual weekly data, no more, no less. Doesn't need any explanation, as it were, but there's no forecast for those inventories just yet. Check on that nearer the day. Then the big event of the week, really, the FOMC statement. That stands for the Federal Open Market Committee meeting. That's the rate setting committee for the Federal Reserve. That's the US Central Bank, like our MPC here in the UK. So they're deliberating about monetary policy and about interest rates. No change, Adrian. No change expected.
But it's what they say, isn't it? And of course, it's what they say will have an impact, most specifically on the dollar, really, because that'll have a bearing on any stimulus they might be looking to do, or usually any potential interest rate change, which is obviously not really on the table at the moment. But any sort of clue that can come from that press conference is likely to have a big impact on the US dollar.
Correct. The market movements will happen more likely in the press conference, unless they do make some announcement at 7 o'clock, which I highly doubt. But with the economy sort of running out a bit of steam with these lockdown measures in the southern states. It's possible they might make some sort of announcement or give a clue as to what future measures might be taken. So yeah, definitely that 7:30 time, dollar and equity sensitive for sure.
Mm. And we've also got Facebook out on
Yeah,
Wednesday as well, don't we?
that's
So
right. Yeah. So that's when you say out, that's one of the first major releases from the FANGs, the big tech as it's now referred to. Facebook. Oh gosh, it's been in the press a lot. Not all positive at all, really. So be interesting to see how they fare. Thursday, we got GDP data coming out
yeah,
from a lot of countries, actually, but the ones that they're focusing in on here, first of all, the German prelim GDP number, um, sort of pretty much in line with other countries, a fall of 9% quarter on quarter. Um, it looks like the US one is horrendous. The
yeah, it
advanced
does,
GDP
doesn't it?
data,
I had to
what
sort
the
of double look at that one for a second until I remembered that it's annualized, this one. So
yeah,
effectively,
yeah.
you can divide this by 4 to get a comparable number. So you're looking at what, I don't know, what is that, sort of 8,
Yeah,
8 point
yeah,
something.
comparable with Germany. That's quite right.
Yeah.
Then after then later, well, not later on, a mixture of results coming out. Remember the Q2 earnings season. This is really the big tech day. Amazon, oh my God, how big are their numbers going to be? Alphabet,
Yeah.
slightly more challenging, as with Apple, but their stock prices have all recovered significantly. My question to you is, and the question the market's asking is, will they justify current prices? Well, find out on Thursday.
Yeah.
But to say that they're
As you said
important is an
before,
understatement.
yeah, 20% of the S&P is just these five tech stocks. That's just staggering. It really
Yeah,
is.
the top 5 tech companies that basically account for 20% of the S&P. So if you want to know where the market's going to go in the near term, just follow those stocks. That's for sure.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay, and then so that's probably the biggest day. Then we think about those
Yeah,
results as per the stock
yeah.
market. To be
Yeah,
honest with you,
that'll
and,
certainly.
and of course, people who invested in trackers and funds, really they're so not overexposed. That's a relative term, but they are so exposed to these stocks that
Mm.
it's going to be something everyone's going to be watching very, very closely indeed. And remember, everybody, that whilst some indices like the Dow is price weighted an index, so that's based on the share price, like a dollar move, and that's not necessarily fair either, because a company which has got a high price of share, like $100 a share, will have a bigger impact on the Dow's price movement than the company with a $20 share price, which is a bit unusual.
Which may actually be worth a lot more than the $100 share in terms of
Yeah,
market cap. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. But of course, the S&P's is market cap, which is a little bit more regular. The FTSE 100, that's also market cap weighted. So the biggest companies have the biggest weightings and the biggest impact on that index itself. Okay, so let's move on to then Friday. France has got its GDP
GDP day, that's
in
right.
also.
No numbers on that, but there are more coming out. There's Mexico. There's a number of countries that are releasing. There are far too many to go into here. I would say manufacturing and services PMI data from China is going to set the tone. That's released sort of early Friday morning. So when we wake up in the morning, we're going to find out the effect of that. And that could impact our indices, European indices, on the opening at 8 o'clock Friday morning. We've data in the US. Chicago PMI, it's something I always used to follow. I have not seen it in this calendar just recently, but it's one of the districts that are closely followed by a lot of market watchers. So that's a number that can affect the markets. And the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment number, we've already mentioned that. That's the revised number. Not so impactful unless there is a big revision, of course. More earnings as well. Oils. So if you're following oil, Exxon and Chevron earnings, second quarter earnings are released on Friday. Wow, what impact will the oil price recovery have had on their numbers, and what outlook do they give? That's the important thing for a lot of us. It's not what they're telling us, it's what they think is going to happen in the next quarter and the next quarter. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's it.
I know that just finishing off, Jerry. There's a few companies in the UK reporting this week as well, and I know that what with Spain sort of moving into sort of relative lockdown as well, that a lot of the European travel companies have been hit pretty hard today. But of course, we've got Ryanair this week, sort
Yeah.
of reported reported a loss. IAG, so British Airways Group, on Friday. So they're going to be watched pretty closely, you'd have to
Yeah,
say.
yeah, for sure.
Um,
Yeah, and UK banks. We had the US banks a couple of weeks ago. Uh, our big banks are out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The likes of Barclays, NatWest Group, as it's been renamed now from RBS. Standard Chartered, etc. So I think they're all going to take a hit, unfortunately, from debts, bad debts, etc. And big pharma as well: Pfizer, Glaxo, AstraZeneca, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and a whole heap of other stocks coming out. It's a busy week for earnings. Far too many to go into, but you'll hear about them in the news wires.
won't we just? Won't we just?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's call it an end there, shall we, Jerry? Thank you very much for the review for the week ahead. Hopefully, that'll set you home traders up nicely to know what to look out for and how to, be prepared for where the movement's going to be. So if you're a short-term day trader, just be vigilant about being in those trades ahead of data like that. Usually, the best thing to do is stand on the sidelines and then wait for the markets to react and then jump in the movement thereafter. But as ever, everybody, we are hosting some live events this week, and if you'd like to learn the trend signal way of doing things, you want to learn one of our foundation trading strategies, you can come along to one of our live events, and we'll teach you the strategies and we'll show you how we do things here. So please book a place in one of our live events, and we'll teach you the 3 simple rules to help boost your trading results. If you go to the webpage, bit.ly/learnts, that's bit.ly/learnts, and we'll look forward to seeing you online. But otherwise, everybody, have a great week's trading, and we'll see you this time next week. And bye-bye for now.